We are Gavin and Emily, and we are in the final stages of converting a retired school bus into our tiny home. This week, we tackled installing our sink, shower, and toilet.
I'm a toilet enthusiast.
After everything was installed, it was time to do a leak test, and boy, did we have leaks.
Welcome back. This week we are going to finish running the plumbing to our sink and to our shower, and we're going to hook up our gray water system.
Your favorite headless bus builder here to put Medusa in her hole.
Place faucet through hole in countertop. Our faucet instructions say to attach the weight to the faucet hose where there is a sticker that says weight here. Our faucet doesn't have a sticker that says weight here, so we are just making it up. We are putting the weight at the point where it, stops the faucet when we at its lowest point that we want it to be. And if we need to change it later, we can. Nice.
So if you have an apartment that has a crappy dangling faucet that never goes back in, check its weight. Our apartment was like that. We just left it like that. But now we know how to fix our own. So we have these two shark bite push to connect angle stops that will be able to just put a piece of PEX connecting this and then connecting each of these right to our faucet lines. So first I'm just going to put my pieces of PEX right into each of our angle stops, just like I have been with any other piece of plumbing we've been doing. Making sure I'm feeling both stops as I push that in. Then I'm going to come over and do each of them onto our T's. And then right now both of them are off, but we don't have any water running to it, so that's not that important for our circumstances.
And then we're doing the red faucet line to the hot and the blue faucet line to the cold.
Yeah, so I'm going to remove the nut that it came with, and this has its own nut and O-ring on it, so we're not going to need the little piece of copper that's in there, I don't think. Oh no, maybe it doesn't hurt it to put it in. What do you think?
I don't think it needs it.
We'll see what happens when we turn the water on.
Alright, now that the faucet's all connected, we can attach our sink. We are doing an undermount sink, and our sink comes with this mounting hardware that is supposed to basically sandwich the sink up into the counter. Unfortunately, we knew this was going to happen, but our cabinet is a little too small for this mounting hardware to fit between our sink and the cabinet walls. So instead of using the mounting hardware, we're actually just going to drill holes in the rib of the sink and screw it up into the countertop, and we think that will hold it pretty well.
Bicep day. Post it up. Well, we squished it in. There's a lot of extra silicone lying around.
It's disgusting. If you don't have to use silicone, don't. I'm very mad at it.
But with a little bit of cleanup, I think it's going to be fine. Alright, it's in. And don't worry, we're gonna test it out before we cover everything up, so that's it. Our water lines are all run. We just need to, screw on our shower head attachment, but we need to put our gray water tank in, put some water in the tank, run it all through, see if anything leaks, and then we should be good to tile this puppy up.
So our plumbing's not finished yet. We are still waiting for a couple more fittings, but until we get those, we have started cutting our cement board for the shower. We are doing a full tile shower, which we're super excited about. So we are using Hardybacker cement board. I will link it down below as always, and we're cutting it to size now. We're not gonna screw it in yet until all the plumbing is complete, but cutting it to size, and Gavin is out here working on it.
So this is more or less how you're supposed to do it. I drew my line at the measurement I needed. I took just a scrap piece of wood and clamped it against that so I have a nice straight edge to go against, and it's recommended to use like a carbide tipped knife that you make them specifically for this. We had this flooring knife that isn't carbide tipped or anything, I don't think, or you can use a utility knife. Whatever you have is fine. And so I'm just taking it and I'm scoring along my straight edge. Snap it right off.
It's called the score and snap. It's very similar to the bend and snap.
So you bend and snap. See?
I'm working on our last shower wall, which will have our shower fixtures and something fun, which will be this little hole, which screws shut and is watertight, that we'll be able to put our toilet components in and out of. So the vent hose for that and the electrical hookup for that can be tucked away while we're showering so nothing gets wet and we can take the toilet out. To do that, I have to cut this perfectly round hole in the cement board. So what I did was I used a metal hole saw and I drilled a hole, and then I cut some spokes using the jigsaw with a metal blade. Now I'm just gonna score around the edge and hopefully it'll come out round. Okay, I really hope I scored my lines deep enough because it's gonna be pretty embarrassing if I have to go inside and tell Emily I broke my hand after doing this, but... So, I have all these cement boards cut for the shower. I have our docking hole there for our hose. I've already drilled a hole in the bus. I think it's time to actually install this toilet. Okay, I took the cement boards out because we're not ready to tile yet, but the first thing I did was attach our little handle to turn it. All I did for that was slip it on and screw it in. So now, we can stir the poop. Okay, before we wire, let's not forget to take the fuse out so I'm not zapping myself the whole time. Toilet, 5 amp. Boop. Now we're good to go. Okay, paying careful attention to labels because Nature's Head gives me a black wire and a black wire. Luckily they say this one's positive, so that one is gonna hook to our positive red wire. And once that's all hooked up, that's the only way we'll have to identify it, but shouldn't be a problem. Just gonna strip them, twist them together, and put the nut on. You've all seen us connect wire nuts before. These are gonna sit behind our shower wall in here. And so all you'll see coming out is this power cord. Bloop. All right, fuse is back in. I assume this fan will just turn on when I plug this in? I don't know.
It's on.
Wow, can you hear that? I can barely hear it. Let's see what we can see. I don't think you can see it either. But it works. All right, my toilet enthusiasts, last thing to do is run this hose through the wall and out the bottom of the bus. So I literally just drilled a hole here that I'm gonna feed it through. I don't really know how much of this hose we're gonna keep. We might cut off some eventually, but then this end is just going right down here. So that's probably all the more we need out here. The rest maybe we'll just curl up inside the wall. We'll see.
I'm so excited to have a toilet.
Time to fill it up.
I'm a toilet enthusiast.
Woo! This is the toilet vent hose where it comes out underneath the bus. It connects to this plate, which will be able to just seal against the bottom of the bus like this. And we're gonna put some mesh over top of this so that no bugs or anything are crawling up into our toilet, because the last thing you want when you're taking a big old dump is beetles in your behind.
Hey guys, so we've had a bit of a crazy week and weekend. Last week we were rushing to get as much done as possible because we took the bus on a little mini road trip, and so we needed to get curtains in place so we had privacy. So we have curtains. They're not 100% done yet, but they give us privacy, so that's all we need, and they're so cute. And also, while we were away, we got a special order, and Gavin installed our knobs. So here's the big knob reveal.
Can you see it? It's a Stegosaurus with a stumpy front leg. Welcome to our house. These are my knobs.
When I was shopping for drawer pulls and knobs, I wanted to find something, you know, really cute and pretty and timeless, and I showed them to Gavin. He didn't love the ones that I loved, and he said that we should do something fun. And he's not wrong. We're living in a school bus, so it should be fun. And so we settled on these amazing animal knobs. We found them on Etsy. I'll link them down below, and we love them. They're so fun. We have dinosaurs in the bedroom, dinosaur in the front of the bus, and then some really cool animals on all the other ones.
We are ready to go from our sink drain through the floor of the bus into where our gray water tank will be. So we think we have everything we need finally. It took a few trips to figure this out, but the main piece that we were looking for was this PVC sink tail piece, which has this flared end that will be able to fit into this screw piece. And so that'll go over that and nest into there. And then this piece will sit inside of that tail piece, and that will screw onto the sink. And then from there we have this adapter, which has a little washer and nut. So that will go through there, and that'll pressure as we screw it on this washer, and that'll seal that into there. So that will allow us to go onto our 1.5" outer diameter PVC. And so we have a little piece of that. That'll elbow at a 45 into another piece of PVC. And then we have this PVC male screw end adapter that will go into our HEP VO. Emily will talk about that. Maybe she already has. That'll screw onto there. That'll make it so our gray water doesn't stink up through our sink. Then we have the female adapter. That'll screw onto the end of that into another piece of PVC. And that'll 45, so it'll sit like this actually, coming down from the sink through our floor into the gray water tank. So the first thing we're going to do is connect all of this stuff. That way we'll be able to hold it under our drain and see where we need to drill through the floor.
Yeah, and we could have just gone straight down from the sink drain into the floor, into the gray water tank. You don't need to do these 45s, but we are putting our diesel heater right there, so we wanted the drain to be out of the way and around the diesel heater, so that's why it's all this convoluted
Between
angle.
the diesel heater and our propane actually also sits like right under here. For us, it's best to take this at an angle towards the back, so it would be way easier maybe to just take this piece to go straight down through, but That's not how life works, honey.
So this is the HEPVO filter that Gavin just mentioned. It is basically replacing a P-trap that you would normally have after your sink. It is a one-way valve that just prevents any odors from coming back up through the pipes. So it seals off, so your gross sink water goes down the sink and then you don't smell it anymore. Next, we are going to install our shower drain pipe that will go to our gray water tank. It is very similar to our sink drain. We are using the same HEPVO filter. That's just a one-way valve to stop any water or smell from coming back up from the tank. We go from a 2-inch pipe. This is what fits up into the shower drain. And then the rest of this will be under the bus above the gray water tank. So the drain comes down into this 2-inch pipe. We have it going into this 2-inch 90. And then it goes into a reducer to 1.5 inch. The 1.5 inch goes through the HEPVO valve, and then another 1.5 inch, and then another 90. And this will go into a 1.5 inch pipe that goes straight down into the tank. So yes, it is long, but it will just run along the top of the tank underneath the bus, so it won't really take up any of our useful space. And yeah, so we're gonna cement all of these pipes together and then put this up into the shower drain and attach it there.
Okay, that's where the shower drain comes down. It'll go through our little stopper majigger and then down into the gray water tank. Along with, that's the sink water hose, so those two will go into the top of the gray water tank. And that's it. Time to test this puppy out. Gonna put some water in it. We have our new drink water safe hose, which, if you'll follow along, we have connected to a not drinking water hose. Who cares? They're all hoses. We're gonna fill it up.
Well, it's okay because it's gonna go through our filter.
Ready?
I don't know. Here comes the water. Okay, I'm going inside. Is it leaking?
Seems fine.
Okay, so if you watched our plumbing install a long time ago, the water is coming in this blue PEX. Should be flowing through our filter and then going right into our tank. We have this nifty little cutout here so we can watch our tank fill up. It's gonna take a while. We've got a big tank. You can hear the water flowing, which is a good sign. Just can't see anything. I wish our PEX was clear. That would be cool. All right, we're about halfway full and there are no leaks yet. I've just been keeping an eye on all our connections at the base of the tank and whatnot. We don't have the pump on yet. We're gonna wait till the tank's full and then we'll pump water into the rest of the system. We have a leak. So the top two connections on our tank where the air vent comes in or goes out and where our gravity fill line comes in are both leaking. Our tank filled to the top and those two connections started leaking. So right now we're just draining the tank as quickly as possible so that those two connections don't have water at them, and then we can sort it out.
Looking at the air vent?
Yeah.
Okay, with the water level down, the leak should stop for now. The tank was just overfilled to above where like the air in tank and gravity fill was, but it's below that level now, so we should be fine to test everything else. I'm gonna turn the pump on and we'll see if stuff starts spraying.
Stuff is spraying! Ah! Yeah, it's this. You want to turn the pump off? Yeah. So our first major leak was at our shower valve. When we put the shower valve in, we really just did it as like a dry fit and didn't tape any of the threads, and then totally forgot that we did that. So I'm going to redo all of these connections and tape the threads with Teflon tape, and then hopefully it doesn't leak. So we've reconnected everything and turned the pump back on, and we seem to have 4 minor leaks, and they're all at our threaded connections. So here you can see the water's beating up at that connection, one of our valve connections, and then where our hot water comes into our hot water heater, that threaded connection has a tiny drip, and under our sink has a tiny drip. They're all small, and we think we just need to tighten the connections. What are you looking at?
Did you say you had 3 at the beginning and then list 4?
No, I have 4. But we have a shower.
What do you always say?
The best time to stop a leak is before it happens. That's why you should always use Teflon tape and thread stuff.
That's what Google says a careful plumber always does.
Multi-purpose thread sealant. Yeah, so we're redoing our fittings that were leaking, redoing the tape. I'm putting on some of this thread sealant, and then we're gonna make sure we tighten them extra tight, but not over tightened. And then hopefully they don't leak anymore. Okay, we have tightened and re-taped and re-thread sealed all of these fittings, and we just turned the pump back on so the water is flowing. How's it looking, Gavin?
All the ones we redid seem fine so far. This one is starting to beat a little, but we haven't.
Yeah, this one we're not going to do until we put like the shower walls up. So it's okay if that one beats a little because that's not a permanent one yet. But all of our fixes look great. And our shower head has like a pause button on it. So that's what we're doing. We have the shower head closed so no water is flowing out. That way pressure can build up in the system and we can make sure that there aren't leaks. Because if the water was flowing, the pressure wouldn't build up and the leaks wouldn't be as easy to spot.
Nice and filtered.
The cement board is all up. All we need to do now is tape the seams. We have this like fiberglass seam tape, and then it's ready for our moisture membrane and tile. But you guys are gonna have to wait for that because we're not ready to do it yet. It was super easy to put up. It really just screws into the studs. The hardest part was cutting everything to size. And we've got a nice little sill here. This is where our, soaps are gonna go. It's beautiful. And we're gonna put some like privacy film on the window so you can't watch us shower.
Sorry.
Thanks so much for watching this week. We are so excited to have running water in the bus, especially because we're gonna be sleeping in it this weekend, so that's super helpful.
Yeah, sorry we didn't get to installing the gray water tank. It was a little scary, so we did other stuff instead, but we have to do it now.
Yeah, we will do it
See you next week with that.
Stay stay tuned, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye. Love you.
Love you.